Hello, friends. This is the part 4 of my speech on the power of mantras in Hinduism. So, now let us go back to Ramayana. This episode, the incident where Vishwamitra seeks the assistance of the two young boys, Rama and Lakshmana, his students, to come accompany him to the forest because he wanted to conduct a yagya and is being disturbed by the Rakshasas and probably other animals there. So he requests Dasaratha, and so likewise he takes Rama and Lakshmana to the forest. Vishwamitra is a Brahmin. I think he's the son of Kaushika Rishi. And so he has some extra knowledge on mantras. That's what I wanted to say because he would have studied. And Rama and Lakshmana are also taught by Vasishta. Vasishta is Vyasa's great grandfather. Vyasam Vashishta Naftaram Shakte Pautram Akalmasham. Akalmasham, the impeccable Shakte is a Pautran means grandson. Shakti Muni's grandson, and Vyasar is Vashishta. Vyasam Vashishtas Naptaram, great grandson. Shakte Pautra Akalmasham Parasha Atmajam. Vande Atmajaha means from the Atma of Parashar by the Dhyana Atmajam. Vande is the last one. Aham Vande, I salute is Artha. Parashar Atmajam Vande Shukaha Tata. Shuka means Shuka Muni is father. Vyasar is a father of Shuka Muni, who was a parrot. Shuka is a parrot. So that Muni had a parrot nose and is author of Bhagavatam. So Shuka Muni, Taponidhim, treasure house of Tapasvi. So that Aham Vande is Artha. So Vasishtar is the great grandfather of Vyasar. So here also Vasishtar teaches, because Mahabharatam is after Ramayana. So Vasishtar clan must be teaches Rama and Lakshmana and Vishwamitra also. Now, why I am going to ask you to ruminate and think deeply upon the point, the major point. See, in the forest, demons are there, means maybe about 3 or 4 or 5. And if Vishwamitra is going to establish or install his Yagya Kunda or Yagya Pida and then start with all these Samitis and Agnis and all, these Rakshasas, demons, would approach that Yagya to destroy that in 3s or 4s or 5s or 10s, maybe, plus some animals. Now, these two young boys, with a bow and arrow, they can, if they take aim and strike with a single arrow, it will go and probably hit the target once. And before they can remount another arrow, the Rakshasas would come near and start attacking with with what is known as stones or forest trees, pulling them out and throwing it on the yagnas. See, these things can happen. So, what is the purpose of taking these two young boys with a bow and arrow when some good number of Rakshasas may come or animals may come? Before they could remount their second arrow, they would have already come into the yagna area. It is here that one has to give a deep thought, because these mantras which Vishwamitra taught Rama and Lakshmana had probably the powerful effect of giving multiplication to a single arrow so that it multiplies itself into several arrows by the force of mantra. These force of mantra, the mantra power appeals to the forces of nature. And just like an atom is being split in a nuclear bomb today, where under a fission, the process of fission, a uranium 235 atom, by bombarding it with a single neutron, it splits into various neutrons and again neutrons to neutrons, and the nuclear fission takes place, an explosion takes place. In the same way, through the power of mantra going on to those frequencies, as Einstein said today, Everything is energy. There is nothing more to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help getting that reality. Now, what is that reality? By Rama and Lakshmana, by those mantras, they want the reality of splitting these arrows into several arrows. One arrow to be split into several arrows, so that they can hit on multiple targets. See, that is why don't think simply because Rama and Lakshmana went there with single arrow. If they start mounting and hitting the target one by one, that may not be suffice. In the meantime, Atrantre, in the meantime, several Rakshasas would have approached and bombarded the yajna. So the purpose would not be served. Vishwamitra knew. So Vishwamitra knew by the power of mantras he taught Rama and Lakshmana, they can definitely do the protection or repel those Rakshasas, and he can do his yajna peacefully. You think on all these things very logically because it's a historical fact. Ramayana, Mahabharata are all historical facts. Though there may be some hype to it, I don't say no, and appreciations or elevations to it. But this is the law. This is how only some knew, not everybody knew. Some knew certain mantras, some knew how to launch a Brahmastra. As I told you earlier, Ashwatthama in Mahabharata, taught by his father Dronacharya, converted the grass into a Brahmastra and he destroyed. Rama also did for the Kakasura episode I told you. It is not simple as you think. These all have powers. Even Pushpaka Vimana of Ravana was not an ordinary man. He was a learned scholar. Vedanam Samavedosmi. He is the author of Samaveda, I would say. He chants Samaveda in tunes when his head got stuck up under the Himalayas because he was arrogant. Intelligence breeds arrogance, whereas what a king requires is wisdom. So through his arrogance, he wanted to lift Himalayas, and Paramashiva pressed his toe. All his heads got stuck. He couldn't chant. Then Narada said, you chant, you praise Lord Shiva, he will release. Then closing its mouth without using its word, he sang the tune. And Shiva was pleased. So Vedanam Samavedosmi. That's what I'm saying. So all these Ravana had the power of raising the Pushpaka Vimana, floating it in the air and going through in a particular speed. They knew the art. See, as I was attending a conference, I told you in 26 July 2013 in Bangalore ISKCON, we had lost lot of manuscripts. Lots of them have gone. We have only hardly probably 1% of what we had, not even 1% of what we originally had. And of that 1%, we have hardly converted or translated into modern English language or other European or other Indian languages. Hardly 1% we had translated. Still lots of them are lying. Some I was told are lying in Dubai. Some I was told are lying in Germany. Some in India, places like Trivandrum, Tanjore. Lot of original manuscripts. Some are there. Therefore, even in Gado Upanishad, when I analyze, my YouTube is there in Gado Upanishad, I have given a word-by-word meaning. The first portions will not tally with the next portions because there are some broken parts. But Pandits have organized it because something is better than nothing. So therefore, this power of mantra, which alone is available in Hindu faith, in Hinduism, which praises devas, the forces of nature, we are required to worship those devas. As you take medicine for your body, as you take psychological treatment if you are very depressed, everything is a force of nature. So what is wrong? And we have the special power of these mantras. I've already told you, go and see Alexander Jacob YouTube, who was the former Director General of Police Kerala. How a dead man's spirit told the police force of Kerala who was his killer because they were unable to have any clue about the killer. Because these are all through mantric powers, proven science, and read Dr. Brian Wee's books. Many masters, many lives. There are no jokes on this. No jokes. I am talking scientifically. How scientific is Hinduism? We believe in God. Everybody believes in God. Every religion believes in God perfectly fine. But we believe in our way. Nothing wrong. God will appreciate us. If He's God, He's total love. So why anybody should come and violate our faith? Your faith is wrong. My God is the only true God. It is all childish, as Einstein says. Very childish. So the main point is how these power of mantras work. And how in Ramayana, Mahabharata, for this Astra Shastram we have, Astra means arrows, Dhanu bow, and how in Brahmastra it created the power of more than 1,000 suns, it says in Mahabharata. No less than a person, Dr. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the modern atomic bomb, quotes this. He says in Bhagavad Gita, in Hindus knew that because they say the Brahmastra creates the power of 1,000 suns. You can go and check his YouTube. There are quotations from him. I am quoting only from YouTube. I do not know any of them personally. And also in Mohenjo-daro civilizations, when the excavations were taking place, when the dead bodies of certain dead bodies were found to have been burnt by very high nuclear power. It's a nuclear radiation energy has burnt them. The way the body was lying, I'm quoting again from internet. Maybe it is a hype, but science has proved that there was high radiation, and radiation can happen only through nuclear force. Chemical energies do not have so much. Therefore, the main point is our mantras are nothing but tuning into those frequencies which Einstein had said, so that you can achieve the reality you want. I'm quoting again Dr. Einstein, the best physicist probably the world has ever produced. Without him, I will not be able to talk to you on a mobile, or I cannot switch on my refrigerator or my air conditioner or drive my car. Everything is theoretical physics, converted slowly energy, matter. But for a layman, if you quote Einstein's equation E equals mc squared, what is there in it? He would only criticize. There is one alphabet E, there is one mathematical equation is equal to, then there is one m, then there is one c, and there is number 2. What is this? They may say, but go deep into that, read those articles, we will understand how pure science is. Similarly, how pure the power of mantras in Hinduism is. Where do you have mantras in other faiths? Come on, tell me, please. You see, our ancestors, our rishis were not fools. Absolutely. Whether in astronomy or whether in any sciences you want, you check. Even Carl Sagan, he has come down to South Indian temple called Gangaikonda Chorapuram, Dharapuram and all, and appreciated those things. And he quotes, he's in the YouTube. I'm quoting from the YouTubes only, their faces. Therefore, all these astrophysicists completely adhere and accept what was scientific in our Vedas, our Shastras, our Ramayanas or Mahabharatas, how they used those weapons, Astra, though it may be very normal, like a bow and arrow which you see in the pictures today. Just like I told you, E is MC squared is only alphabet and and a numerical number 2. It is not simple as it is. They had the power of mantras behind them, so that when they chant it properly in the proper chandas, the mantra delivers and acts as per the instructions of the forces of nature, which these chanters pray to, and guides them to perfection for achieving their reality. This is the point I want to emphasize upon. It is not a mere joke, because I am also exposed to all foreign civilizations, Western civilizations. I studied abroad. The main point is, this is the point, because when I analyzed, I'm a student of Sanskritam also. When I analyzed deeply through Sanskritam, this is the conclusion I am arriving at. The power of mantras, when chanted properly with affection and with concentration and with faith, delivers to you or takes you to that frequency wherein you will be able to achieve the reality you want, and there is no other way. Quoting from Einstein only. Therefore, whenever you chant mantras, chant it properly. And in Samskrita, I've told you, there are words and expressions, visargas, which if not done, will give you opposite effect. So we have to do that with affection and faith and concentration, and you achieve what you want. And you will achieve the reality you want. A honest, genuine, pure, divine reality, a good reality, a moral reality, not immoral realities. It will not give you the effect. Maybe you have to approach dark energies, which I do not want to talk about. Therefore, how many mantras are there? What are some signs and the nuances in mantras? I will conclude this power of mantras in the next episode. Till such time, Bhuyat, Tavat, Shubhamangalam. Thank you.